Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria are set to fight this weekend at UFC 317 International Fight Week. Guys, the card is pretty good overall. It's not insane, but it's also not bad. It's pretty good. I'm going to be giving my full breakdown and predictions for this card, so I say we just go straight into it. On the UFC website, I've noticed that, the card, it's kind of a mess, the way they formatted it. So, yeah, I'll start with this first fight. Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. Now, Nico Price, he's sort of the last coming of the dodo bird, as Lucas Tracy says. And I've said before, that's my favorite analogy that he has. But yeah, Nico Price is going to get destroyed by Jacoby Smith. This matchup reminds me of the matchup that just happened, Malcolm Wellmaker versus Chris Mutino. Yeah, Nico Price is going to get flatlined in the first round. I'm almost certain of it. Yeah, he's no match for Jacoby Smith. Jacoby Smith is the Malcolm Wellmaker in this situation, and Nico Price is the Chris Mutino. I've been predicting a first 2 minutes KO by Jacoby Smith. Obviously, Jacoby Smith has shown the power, the speed, and I'm pretty sure Nico Price has never impressed anyone ever. Maybe back in the day. Back in the day, Nico Price actually used to be known as this sort of tough nut, guy who get into wars and scraps. But, now he's sort of just this Alex Morono level, Court McGee, got chinned by Robbie Lawler in his retirement fight. This fight shouldn't be close at all. I'm picking Jacoby Smith to destroy him and get a first-round KO, and that's really all there is needed to be said for that fight. All right, on to the next, which is Jananta Dines and Alvin Hines. Now, guys, I'm picking Alvin Hines, the tough cookie. He doesn't even have a picture yet. That's how tough he is. No, I'm kidding. I'm picking Jananta Dines, whatever you want me to say, to beat Alvin Hines. Alvin Hines, though, 7-0. I don't know. But obviously, he's a heavyweight, so, it's probably 7 blobs he's fought. Jananta Dines, obviously, he has that last loss to Marcin Tybura. But I'm sure Jananta Dines will beat Alvin Hines, 8-1. He's got a good record. I will pick Jananta Dines by I'll say a second or third round TKO, or maybe just a unanimous decision. I mean, we'll see. I don't really have anything to say on this fight, because I don't know who Alvin Hines is. I could have sworn, I don't know, maybe I'm just a casual, but I could have sworn when Justin Taffa pulled out of this fight that it was a different guy. It wasn't Alvin Hines. I swear it was some 4-6 heavyweight. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tweaking. Probably am. But Alvin Hines 7-0. I don't know. Maybe he's good. Maybe he's not. That's really all there is to be said. I will pick Jananta Dines to beat him. And yes. All right, on to the next. Wow, this is new to me. Cedric Dumas, Jackson McVeigh. When did this get announced? Is this actually on the card? Guys, I had no clue that this was even a fight. Sorry, I'm unprepared. I didn't know that Cedric Dumas even had a fight on this card. But, dude, I'm going to be honest. I don't know who Jackson McVeigh is. 6-0. And Cedric Dumas is kind of bad. Fun fact about Cedric Dumas. The only thing I remember him from is Big Homie has like 19 mug shots, bro. And I just know him getting chinned by Ruzaboyev, and he just got knocked out by Mikhail Oleksiejczuk at UFC 314. I don't have anything to say on this fight, guys. I'm a casual right now. I'm unprepared. Jackson McVeigh, don't know you, buddy. Cedric Dumas, I've seen Cedric Dumas fight multiple times. Yeah, I guess I'll pick Cedric Dumas. But I actually don't trust Cedric Dumas at all. But I don't know who Jackson McVeigh is. I don't have any study on him, so I can't pick Jackson McVeigh. Cedric Dumas would be my pick, but I got no clue. All right, on to the next. Terrence McKinney versus Vyacheslav Borishev. This should be a good matchup, a good scrap and lightweight, and I'm sure this will be a great prelim. Obviously, Terrence McKinney, he's kind of got that kill or be killed style. He has absolutely no chin, but he also has a lot of power. So I will pick Terrence McKinney. And also, I've learned Vyacheslav Borishev is just not good. He doesn't have a chin on him either. And Terrence McKinney has more power. I mean, just look at Vyacheslav Borishev's record, 8-5-1. I mean, that's a horrific record. Horrendous, I should say. Oh, my bad. I've also seen, I just don't like the idea of picking Terrence McKinney against this level of fighter. He's better than this level. I'm sure he will get a knockout over Vyacheslav Borishev when the time comes. Terrence McKinney, obviously, he had that tough cookie fight against Drew Dober where he actually rocked Drew Dober, but then obviously got finished. He's got like the 7-second knockout over Matt Favola. He's gotten chinned by like everyone imaginable. I think Esteban Ribovic most recently. But he also just got a win not too long ago, a KO, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure this will be a fun fight. I'm hyped for this fight. I'm glad they added this to the card. Terrence McKinney, he's a favorite, -175. Borishev's coming in out +145. I will pick Terrence McKinney to win by, I'm going to say, a second round KO. And I think it'll be a pretty cool highlight, for Terrence McKinney. So, on to the next. Oh, yeah. This is what I'm talking about. This is the real fights. This is the real fight we wanted. The two tough nuts. Timmy Tough Knuckles. Come on, Dad. How can you not be excited for Vivian Araújo versus Tracy Cortez, Dad? You're freaking casual if you're not excited for this fight. I mean, how you not excited for freaking Tracy Cortez, bro? Tracy Cortez is the best women's fighter, bro. But yeah, in all seriousness, I don't care about this fight. I couldn't care less about this fight. I'm not gonna lie. Tracy Cortez 11-2. Vivian Araújo 13-6. Usually in these WMMA fights, I know nothing about it, so I'll just pick the girl with the better record. But honestly, I just don't feel like Tracy Cortez is good. So, I'm gonna pick Vivian Araújo. She kind of looks like a tough cookie, eh? So I'll pick Vivian Araújo to win, probably by like a unanimous decision because I doubt there'll be a finish because there's never finishes in WMMA because it's so trash. No hate to the top. I mean, Kayla Harrison's pretty good, but this is hard to watch. I'm sure this fight will be a snooze fest, but sure, I guess I'll pick Vivian Araújo. All right, on to the next. Okay, this is a good fight. Haider Amel versus Jose Delgado. I like this matchup. Haider Amel, he's coming off of that absolute war against, what's his name? The dude from Paris. William Gomez, right? Yeah, William Gomez. He's coming off that war with William Gomez. Really close fight. I mean, a lot of people had it for Gomez. I think I had it for Hyder Amel. I believe that was on the Manel Kape versus Asu Mabayev fight night. Jose Delgado, 9-1. He got a good record. Jose Delgado, man, he's a good striker. I've seen him. He's got good hands on him. And actually, when I was watching Lucas Tracy's video on 317, his predictions, he picked Jose Delgado. And so that's something to think about. But at the end of the day, I think I'm going to be going with Hyder Amel for this one. And obviously, Hyder Amel, he obviously beat that Korean prospect. He landed like that 38 or something punch combo on him. And I remember when I was watching that, I was in freaking like Tijuana, Mexico, and I was watching the fight night. It was like fight night, like Verna Jandiroba versus like some other girl. That was like the only highlight of the fight night. I think this will be actually a scrap. I'm actually low-key hyped for this fight. It's on the preliminary card, so prelims. I'm going to go with Hyder Amel to edge out this one. I'm going to say maybe by unanimous decision or by a third-round TKO, I'll say. But I think I would pick Hyder Amel. I'll say TKO, round 3. I like Hyder Amel, man. He's just like your classic, like, grit down and just start throwing big, meaty bombs, Like Jose Delgado, he's definitely the more technical striker, He'll, like, actually set up stuff, whereas Hyder Amel, literally, he's just going to be slugging big, meaty bombs over the top. He's got sort of like Josh Emmett, but more skilled, honestly, than Josh Emmett. It's just Josh Emmett has more of a chance to just land a big, meaty bomb that'll put you unconscious. But, I like Hyder Amel. He's undefeated. He's pretty hyped up, and I think he'll get this one done. All right, on to the next. Okay, here we go. Now, this is a crafty fight. If there's ever a crafty fight, this is a crafty fight. Because my boy, Jack the Joker, Mr. Crafty himself, he's got the formula to the Krabby Patty, because he's so crafty. Jack Hermanson, he's a one-fight-a-year guy. But when that one fight comes around, all eyes are on the Joker, Jack Hermanson. I was actually watching the Countdown episode earlier today, and I just saw this video of Jack Hermanson who just like climbing stuff. It's so random. And then you got Gregory Rodriguez. Okay, guys, I'm going to come clean, honestly. I don't like Gregory Rodriguez at all. I don't know why. He just kind of annoys me. He's also part of like that unk prospect tier list. I know he's only 33. That's not that unk, but just look at Gregory Rodriguez. If you didn't know anything, if you didn't have his age displayed right here, you would think Gregory Rodriguez is an unk bro, certified like 38-year-old. I don't know. I don't like these. My least favorite thing are these like unk prospects, bro. Like, how are you? I know he's actually not like that, but like, bro, you're not a prospect, bro. Sorry, I just had to get that off. Gregory Rodriguez, coming off that KO loss to Jared Cannonier in that war on that fight night, the Apex fight night. The Killer Gorilla got finished by him. Jack the Joker coming off of that win over, that crafty win, I should say, over Joe Pyfer, and that was actually so long ago. He might get cooked, guys. But Jack Hermanson, he was down 2 rounds to Joe Pyfer. Gregory Rodriguez basically just is Joe Pyfer again. But then he came back 3 rounds. But the point is, that was a 5-round fight night main event. Jack only has 3 rounds to work with in this fight. So I might be leaning, I don't know yet, I might be leaning towards Gregory Rodriguez to get this one done if he just, because he's obviously going to land the heavier shots. I mean, pillow hands Jack Hermanson has never hurt anyone in his life. But, I think Gregory Rodriguez might just land the bigger shots. But at the same time, Jack Hermanson, he's just got like that, he's just got like that meme ability. I know he's actually a pretty good fighter, he's actually a good fighter, but, when he's fighting, it's a big deal. And I just have like this weird feeling that this fight is going to be like close, but not close, if you know what I mean, like Gregory Rodriguez is clearly going to be winning. Like, he's clearly, going to be landing the heavier shots, invisibly, stinging Jack Hermanson. But, Jack Hermanson might rack up, some flimsy peppermint patty ground and pound shots if he gets Gregory Rodriguez down. And for some reason, I just have, this vision. I don't know, every now and then I just get, these weird thoughts, that the judges, it's going to be like a robbery. The judges are going to rob Gregory Rodriguez of a win, and they're going to give old Jack Hermanson his crafty win of the year. I actually, you know what? I'm going to do it. Give me Jack the Joker in 3, baby. Give me Jack the Joker by unanimous decision, split decision, whatever you want. The Joker's back. And I'm hyped. Let's go. I love Jack Hermanson, man. At the same time, you can totally just get chinned by Gregory Rodriguez. But, that's MMA for you. That's MMA. All right, on to the next. Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. All right. I've seen a lot of people going around acting like this is old, Felipe Lima, and, they're acting like he's like the garbage man. He's about to take out the trash on Peyton Talbot. And, they're thinking, bro, this is light work for Felipe Lima, bro. Just because Peyton Talbot, obviously got fraud checked in his last fight at UFC 311 by Raoni Barcelos. I think this fight is actually closer than a lot of people think. Because if you were to think about it, Felipe Lima's striking is not that good, It's not that good. It's actually really not that good. He's a good striker. But he's not there yet, I heard someone say that, he's green. He's green like Cameron Simon. I think it was Lucas Tracy. It might have been MMA Guru, though. I don't remember. And obviously, look, Peyton Talbot did to Cameron Simon. And I just think if this fight stays on the feet, Peyton Talbot has the advantage in the striking, but obviously, Felipe Lima, he could mix in the grappling, mix in the striking, and just have a well-rounded, crafty performance. But then you look at it, 5'6", 5'10", I think this is actually going to be a really, really close fight. And, I might shock a lot of people, but I'm going to go with Peyton Talbot. I'm going to go with Peyton Talbot to win this fight by a unanimous decision. I think Peyton Talbot's going to have good shot selection. He's going to pick the right shots, and he's going to have his moments, and he's going to edge out the decision. I think it'll maybe be a 29-28. Maybe Felipe Lima steals the second or third round, but I think Peyton Talbot's going to be switched on after, his disappointing last performance where he got fraud checked. But obviously, the smarter pick and the easier pick is probably Felipe Lima, but I'm going to go with Peyton Talbot. I believe in Peyton Talbot. Even though, in my eyes, he's sort of been replaced by my boy, my favorite, Malcolm Wellmaker. By the way, a video is coming soon on Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's coming. But yeah, I'll take Peyton Talbot in this one. All right, on to the next. Benny Dariush Beneil versus Renato Money Moicano. Okay, here's my thing. Beneil Dariush has been out of the octagon for a very, very, very long time. His last fight was like December 2023, was it? I think Beneil Dariush's last fight was December 2023 against Arman Sarukian, where he got flatlined in one round by Arman, who doesn't do that to anyone. And obviously before that he had gotten finished in the first round by Charles Oliveira. So, it's been rough lately for Beneil Dariush, but again, he's taken a lot of time off. So for all I know, he could be Usman maxing. He could be on a 3-fight win streak. I know it's 3-fight losing streak. I know it's a 2-fight losing streak, and just come back and dominate Moicano. But I also think Moicano's been the more active fighter. Obviously, his last fight, he was actually supposed to fight Beneil Dariush earlier this year in January, but then obviously Beneil pulled out. Not Beneil pulled out. Arman pulled out, and then so they moved Money Moicano up the card. And then he got destroyed in one round by Islam Makhachev. But hey, that's not what we talk about here. Before that, Moicano had beat Benoit Saint-Denis at UFC Paris. Pretty dominant performance by Moicano. I think this fight could actually be a close fight. And here's the thing. Moicano, he's not a high-level fighter. He's not. He has good jiu-jitsu, good grappling or good wrestling. But he's not high-level. The guys he's beating, BSD, Jalen Turner, Drew Dober, those are not, high-level dudes. Those are good fighters, not high-level dudes, though. Beneil Dariush has fought, he's fought more of the cream of the crop. He's fought the Charles Oliveira's, the Arman Sarukians. People called him a bad matchup for Islam Makhachev back in the day. So, you know what? I'm going to pick Beneil Dariush to win this fight. I think Beneil Dariush is going to outstrike Renato Moicano and actually make him look pretty silly on the feet. And I think he'll get maybe 29-28, 30-27, whatever. Maybe Moicano will steal a round if he wrestles good and Beneil can't get up. But, I'm actually going to take Beneil in this fight. I think my past takes on this fight, I was actually taking Money Moicano to beat Beneil Dariush, but I'm gonna take Beneil Dariush. I'm going to switch it up and take Beneil Dariush. But either way, this should be a fun fight, and I'm pretty hyped. All right, on to the next. Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van Man. Joshua Van Man. Come on, bro. It's Joshua Van. I'm not going to lie. Joshua Van, the thing about Joshua Van is, bro's a tough cookie. He's a tough nut, bro. He's Timmy Tough Knuckles, bro. He's literally has a whole fan base around him. Hardcores like Joshua Van for one reason, and casuals like Joshua Van for another reason. They just like Joshua Van, man. He's low-key just a likable dude. But I will admit, I've never seen, I never saw what people see in Joshua Van, I don't think he's that good. And he's taken this fight, short notice, because Manel Cap pulled out. He has just fought at UFC 316, and we're at UFC 317. So that's only one pay-per-view later. And Brandon Royval is dangerous. In flyweight, where many fighters aren't dangerous, Brandon Royval is one of the few who is actually dangerous. He's dangerous on the feet. He can knock you out. And that is what I think Brandon Royval is going to do. And yes, I know Joshua Van has leveled up a lot since he got chinned by Charles Johnson. But that doesn't change my mind. I think Brandon Royval is too dangerous. And he's going to land, the heavier shots. And Brandon Royval, Joshua Van's quick. Joshua Van's very quick. He just dominated Bruno Silva. But let's be real, Bruno Silva absolutely sucks. And he's terrible. I'm just going to take Brandon Royval in this one. I have a feeling this is going to be a good performance by Royval. He might catch the chin of Van, I'll say, maybe round 2 or 3. I'll say round 3 is when he'll catch the chin of Van. But yeah, I just reckon. I don't know why I said I reckon. I'm not Australian. Yeah, it's so weird. I think Brandon Royval is just going to catch him. Maybe with something clean, like a good check hook or a good uppercut. Joshua Van has been previously finished with an uppercut. But yeah, I'm going to take Brandon Royval by finish in the third. I think this is going to be a good performance by Brandon Royval. All right. Next, the co-main event for the flyweight strap between Alessandre Pantoja and Kai Kara France. All right, I'll start with Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France, like I said, with Brandon Royval being one of the few guys who's actually dangerous in flyweight, Kai Kara France he's dangerous. He's probably, honestly, on the feet, probably the most dangerous. He has 11 first-round knockouts, first-round finishes. In his most recent fight at UFC 305, he put out Steve Erceg in round 1, knocked him out in the first round. He looked very good, very quick, very strong. But I'm sorry, I just can't bet against Pantoja, man. I mean, when I really started watching MMA, fully started watching MMA, it was UFC 287, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira 2, and then UFC 290 wasn't that long after, and that was Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez, International Fight Week. And in the co-main event, Brandon Moreno faced Alessandro Pantoja. And I just remember watching that, and that was one of the funnest fights I've ever watched. I mean, such a good fight. I remember initially watching it thinking, Moreno won. Because I had the UFC 4 video game, and Brandon Moreno was the champ. And I was such a casual, I was the utmost casual at the time. So I would literally just play as the champion, Brandon Moreno. So I was rooting for him. So I think I might have been a little bit biased when I was thinking he won. But, either way, it was a close fight. So back to my story. Pantoja won the belt. It was very close. It might have been unanimous or split. I don't remember. But that's why I want Pantoja to win, man. We are at UFC 317. That was at UFC 290. I mean, the fact that I saw this dude become champ and he hasn't lost the strap since, it kind of blows my mind, And he's actually defending, He's not like John Jones defending once in 2 years. This dude has 3 title defenses. So yeah, I want Alessandro Pantoja to win, and I am thinking Alessandro Pantoja is going to win. When these two had their first fight on Tough, back in the day, way back in the day, they were pretty much evenly matched. I think Pantoja won. But yeah, I think Pantoja is going to win this fight. I think it will actually be close but I think Pantoja's going to win. I'll take him by unanimous decision. But, Kai Kara-France, he just has that thing where, he can catch you at any moment and put you out. But also, there's other Kai Kara-France who got finished with a body kick by Brandon Moreno. So, what do you know? But yeah, I'm gonna take Alexandre Pantoja, and this should be a great fight. All right, and finally, we have the main event between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. And off the bat, this is a phenomenal main event. This is what a main event should be, like every time. Two warriors, great matchup. I know we wanted the Islam matchup, and I'm bummed we didn't get it. But, this is almost as good as the Islam matchup. It's definitely worse. It's definitely a step down from the Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria fight. But this is still, don't get it twisted. This is still an awesome fight. And I'm sure when this fight comes around, I'm going to be super excited and super nervous because these are two of my favorite guys. I know Ilia Topuria kind of plays like the villain character in the UFC, but I still like him. His confidence is off the charts, and he's just, he shows it when he steps in the octagon. He puts people out. Charles Oliveira, I sort of have this thing with Charles Oliveira. Like, I literally just can't root against Charles Oliveira. Him and Alex Pereira, I can't do it. I can't root against them. They're just so entertaining. And, they just have, like, this story, They're, Charles from the favelas, Brazilian favelas, to world champ. Alex from, he was a professional glory kickboxer, one of the GOATs of glory kickboxing, but then he was working in a tire shop, obviously. And then he came to the UFC, because Izzy called him out in that interview. This guy's going to be at some pub. And then, he came back and he won the belt in 2 divisions. But sorry, I don't know why I'm yapping about Alex Pereira. But yeah, this is such a great fight. I literally cannot wait for this. But, on the other side, I think Ilia Topuria is going to he's going to knock out Charles Oliveira in the first round, I think. Charles is just way too open to strikes. He just doesn't really know how to play defense sometimes. And that's a risk you can't take when you're facing Ilia Topuria. And Charles also, he doesn't have a granite chin. He's been known to be chinny. He's been dropped by, like, everyone, Chandler, Dustin, Justin, whatever, Islam, whoever. He's been dropped by most of everyone he's faced. And, Ilia is more dangerous on the feet than any of those guys I just named. Literally, Ilia is more dangerous on the feet than Islam, Dustin, Justin, or Michael Chandler. So, I think Ilia Topuria is just going to land a good shot on Charles Oliveira. He's going to rock him, and then I think he's going to hit him a couple more times. And then Charles Oliveira is going to be on the ground covering up, I think, a few more hammer fists, ground and pound, whatever. And Ilia Topuria is your new lightweight champ. But, yeah, there's still, a possibility. There's still a little possibility, in my opinion. Charles Oliveira, in classic Charles Oliveira fashion, fights through the initial storm of Ilia Topuria, and that's going to be super hard. But honestly, if anyone can do it, it's probably Charles Oliveira. How many times have we seen that? Dustin. We've seen it in the Dustin fight. We've seen it in the Justin fight. We've seen it in the Chandler fight. The list goes on. So Charles could easily, not easily, but he could fight through the storm and maybe weather his own storm, gain a second wind and, maybe just hang in there with Ilia Topuria and maybe get it done by like a sub or a knockout or but I just don't see that happening. Like Ilia's too dangerous. Ilia's just on another level than most of these guys. And a lot of people think the power is not going to translate. I feel like the power is going to translate so easily. Like, I made a whole separate video on this, so I won't yap for too long. But yeah, the power's going to translate, dude. I'm sorry. It's going to translate. I don't think it's not going to be fun watching our boy Oliveira get put out, but sometimes it's just the way it's got to be. So I will pick Ilia Topuria to get this one done by a first or second round knockout. I don't know. It depends. Ilia kind of seems to scout his opponents, get a read on them in the first round. So, maybe he'll do that. But he also has said, in previous interviews that he thinks Charles Oliveira is like the perfect opponent to finish in the first round. So that's probably what he's going to do, because every time Ilia says something that he's going to do, he does it. So, yeah, that's just the thing. All right, guys. So that is my full predictions and breakdown for International Fight Week UFC 317. This is a pretty good card. I'm pretty hyped for it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you later.